everybody, this is Captain Murphy from PiratesAhoy.net. We're doing another stress test right here showing the interaction between particle effects, the particles, the cannons, the collision effects. So we're trying to tax as much of the system as we can. So what I'm doing right now is I'm still running it inside of the game SDK environment. I'm not running it as an actual dedicated engine. We should see better performance in the dedicated engine, but we want to see pretty much the worst case scenario. So what I'm going to show you is I've got two vessels here that are both going to be duking it out, and I've wrapped it in a whole lot of brush items. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of trees and buildings. I've got grass covering every pretty much level area of ground. So this is not a light duty level. This is full of detail. And you can see that up in the right hand corner, I'm pushing right around 40 frames a second. So we're not doing too bad right now. The one thing I also wanted to show is it doesn't appreciably change even when the vessels are actually duking it out. What you don't hear is I've got the audio muted right now. So there's going to be all the cannon sounds, and also there's going to be the theme music going on as well. But we're going to turn that on in a second once we've actually done a little bit of movement here. So when the vessels aren't actually creating particle effects, we're looking at about 40 frames a second. When they're actually starting to create the particle effects, it doesn't really appreciably change. We're still looking at 30 to 40 frames a second, so we haven't changed anything greatly. Now, this doesn't sound like it's all that great because I'm normally running right around 80 to 120 in the development environment. But as I did before, I've got a couple more boats over here doing the exact same thing. I've got 50 land hoys all doing the exact same thing. So they're all beating each other up. There's cannonballs flying. They're all firing at around 10 to 12 seconds per cannon fire. So we've got a lot of activity going on. I also have disabled culling. So this does not turn down the effect the further away it gets. Every particle effect is rendered on the level, so I'm not turning them down as they get further and further away. I also want to point out that the models that I'm running right now have no LOD drop. That means I'm running the same level of detail 0 for every single model. So this model right up in the front is exact same detail as the model all the way at the back. The only optimization being done is by the engine itself. We're not doing anything on our side to try to make it better. So at this point right now, the last time I had looked at the information, I was running right around 1.7, something like that, million, 17 million polys. We're running a pretty good amount. We're still doing 20 frames a second. And again, we're in the engine as a game SDK, so we're not doing too terribly bad. But you can see that even at 20 frames a second, it's pretty pretty smooth. So what I'll do is I'll turn on the audio effects so you can hear the audio actually going at the same time. And then I'll just kind of cruise around through this battle going on so you get an idea of what a battle will sound like. Alright, so that's just a quick look at what a good-sized battle would look like. And you can see that we are going to have to do some optimization in order to keep our frames up. But considering we're running at the worst optimization right there and absolutely no culling at all to reduce the number of effects as they get further away, I think we've got a pretty good chance of being able to pull off 50 ship battles without really having a big difficulty. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this new stress test, and if you have any more ideas or ways that we can try to push the limits, just let me know. Thanks.